Hi my friends, it's David Tran and this is day number 7 of my 30 days of code challenge, the iOS development with Swift version. Now, if you're new to this and new to this channel, this is the series where in 30 days I challenge myself to create a new app or some new features of an app, and then I will film a video tutorial to publish and share with you guys and document that process to share with you guys how to build that. So if you're new to this, welcome, and I'm happy that you are here. Today, day number 7, we are going to build an app that I call Location Finder, and that is what it does. It will find your current location or using the simulated location in the simulator. What it does is that it will use core location to get the user's current location from the GPS. And what we'll learn how to do this is you will learn how to use core location, how to use location manager, how to ask for users permissions to use the location services, and how to use that location as well. We'll turn that location into latitude and longitude coordinate, and then in later episodes you will learn to use that latitude and longitude information into a map. For example, you can put that as a pin on the map, or you can even do things like connect that location to some post, some photos, anything that is like a data model in your app, maybe a journal entry, or maybe like a social media post, or some video that the user takes, for example, like that. Let's download the starter project that I prepared for you and the full resources and the source code in this episode by clicking the link in the description. There will be a link for you to do that. Just enter your name and email so that I can send you the full source code, the tutorials, and also you get my weekly newsletter, the Coder's Digest, where in the whole week I document my process as a developer and I share with you the new technologies and newest tutorials and videos and trainings and special series that I don't share anywhere else via except emails, honestly, and we don't do that on the channel. So without any further ado, let's go into the demo. So in today's episode, I want to focus more on core location, just the coding of it, so that we'll learn how to use core location. Then we'll get the user's current location from the GPS of the phone. That's why I already prepared for you some very basic UI design in the storyboard in the starter project for you. So download the starter project right below. It has the main storyboard like this. This will be the status bar that maybe it says that like location, the app is getting a location, or we just found a new location. Then we'll put in the latitude and the longitude of the coordinates of that location. Then in the later episode, we'll learn how to convert that latitude and longitude, the coordinates, into a readable address, something like 123 street A, street B, USA 12345, the zip code, for example. And then we have the find button, find location button. Then we have the location view controller, which is the class that is responsible for that guy. Okay, so without any further ado, let's code up this project. To use core location, firstly we'll need to import core location. Then below here, below our IB outlet and action, I want to have a let location manager to be a CL location manager. We'll create that immediately, and the reason why we use it as a let, it is a constant, so we don't need to change it anywhere. Okay. Then let's have the location. It is of type CL location optional. Why is it optional? The reason is that we don't want this to be like an absolute type, to be some value, because the location here, when we tap into get location, find location, then location manager, which is kind of like the hub of connecting with core location and the GPS, all of those stuff under the hood, it will does the job of finding location using Wi-Fi, using cellular network, using the radio signal from GPS, which is global positioning system, right? The location here may be nil. Maybe there's something wrong with the network, or there's some signals like you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have cellular, and when you are in a building, it's very hard to get signal, right, from radio. So the location may be nil. That's why it's optional. Then let's have a flag that says that argui is updating location or not, and by default that is false. Then we'll store the last location error into this error optional. Okay. Then now, in order to use location manager here, we'll need to ask for permission to use location services that is required in iOS. So to do that, we'll need to go into project setting and then the info.plist over here, or you can click immediately into this info.plist. Then we'll need to create two new key value pair into this. First one is we need to typing in privacy like this, and then you'll see that there's a below here location when in usage description. Now in this case, the app that we're building here, we only need the location when in use description, because we don't want to track the user's location every minute, every second, right? But if you are building an app like, for example, Uber, they tracks the user location and then the driver location every single minute or second, then you need to always use, right? For example, like that. So here we'll need to pass in a string that describes to the user that, for example, I will say this app finds your location using the GPS, something like that. Okay, you should describe why do you want to use location services. Then if you go into this, there will be a required device capabilities. Expand that. That is an array. So the first item is the structure of the platform is ARM v7. Now we want to create a new one. We call that location services, like that. Okay, so we'll create a new one. All right, so that is for the info plist. This is kind of like the basic configuration. Let's go back into the location view controller. Then in updates, in view.load, I'm going to call super.view.load. Then here, when the view is loaded, let's call it updates UI. Then here we'll create a new function called updates UI like this. Okay. So inside update UI, if we do get the location, then what we need to do over here is that we need to populate the location labels with coordinate info, right? Otherwise, it means that we don't have anything. The app just gets started or there's no location, right? So we can set the status label, which is this guy over here, .text, to be tab find location to start. Okay, which is over here. Then let's change the latitude label, the text, to be just like an empty thing, longitude, to be that. Then the address label, the text, to be that as well. Okay, so now let's run the project and see how it looks like. So by default, we expect that we have this information populated, and here we go, right? So it says tab find location to start, and we need to have an IB action for this as well. So let's have mark called target action, and we're going to create an IB action from find location like that. Okay, so here in main.storyboard, let's right click over there, because I already, again, it is in the starter project, so I already connect these things, but we need to create the action for this find location. Then that should be touch up inside. Okay, now in location view controller, for the find location, what we are going to do, this is where interesting things happen. There are several things that we want to do. Number one is we want to get the user's permission to use location services, right? Number two is we want to report to user if permission is denied, right? For example, now there are a few cases that the permission is denied. One may be like user accidentally refuse, right? Or number two, maybe the device is restricted, right? So the device is restricted in cases like if you work for an organization and then the organization gives you some phones or tablets to use in your work, then maybe the phone is restricted with location services or some other capabilities because they want to protect the device privacy, right? So next is we want to start finding location, right? So that is three things that we need to handle in this case. So number one, get the user's permission to use location services. Let me first let the authorization status to be CL location manager dot authorization status, right? Then if the authorization status is not determined, meaning the user we haven't asked it yet, right? Then we'll say that, hey, location manager, request when in use authorization, all right? Which is the thing that we wanted in the first place. Now, if it is that you want to request like always authorization, you'll call this method instead of when in use, cool? Then we'll return out of this method immediately because we don't want to handle any more before the user allows us to use location services. Cool? Then into here, we want to check if the authorization status is denied or again if it is restricted, right? Equals to restricted. Then what we want to do is we want to let's say we want to report location services denied error, okay? And then we return. Now this is a method, let's write that. So copy, let's have a func over here, right? So we need to write this method to let the user know that, hey, you just disable location services. So this is very simple. We'll do an alert view to be a UI alert controller with the title is location services disabled, like that. And then message is please go to settings and then privacy to enable location services for this app, right? Preferred style is alert. Then we do an OK action is UI alert action. The title is OK. Style is default. Handle is nil. Alert dot add the action. That could be OK action. Then finally we present the alert. Animated is true. Completion is nil. Make sense? So all we do is we'll put out this alert telling the user that, hey, you need to allow us to use location services. All right, so let's run it once again and see how it looks like. Here we go. So the first time that we tap into find location, it should pop up this thing. Now, this alert right here is not this one. Okay, this is not this one. Why do I know? Because it says allow 30DSC location, which is the name of this app, 30 Days of Swift Challenge, to access your location while you are using the app. This app finds your location using GPS. So this actually is this line over here, the message is actually this one that I put in, right? iOS, the system, puts up this thing for us. We, as a developer, we cannot do this. This is the system jobs to prevent to protect the user's privacy. Okay, so here let's say most likely they will press allow, but what if they didn't do that, right? They click don't allow. So now if I run it once again, all right, it will not ask for permission. If I click here, it will not ask for permission again because it says, oops, it's disabled, which is this part right here, right? So we need to go to settings. Let's go to settings. Here we go. Privacy, location services, 30 days DS while using the app. Okay, if you are having the always using, then that will have always right there. All right, so let's go back and click find location. See, it doesn't show the alert anymore, so it works. Cool. All right, so that is location services. Next up, let's handle number 3 here. We'll start and stop finding the location. So how can we do this? Well, think of it this way. Finding the user's current location using the GPS, it takes time, right? It takes time. It's not like immediately you can do it, right? Maybe it's, if you are in a really strong network, then maybe it can be from 1 to 2 seconds. If it's longer, then it may take up to maybe 10-20 seconds or even worse, right? That's why we have this flag right here called is updating location or not. So let's check that. So let's check if we are in the middle of finding location because the user just tap it. Then we will stop. Let's say we want to stop the location manager, okay? Because the user is kind of confused. There's something wrong with the network right here, right? So we should report that error sometime soon. Now else, meaning that we should start the location manager, right? But before we start, I will reset the location and the last location error to be nil so that everything is fresh, okay? So after whether we start or stop, we will update UI, which is this method over here that we'll implement in just a moment. Cool? So now let's implement the start and stop location manager. So let's have a function for start location manager, another one for stop location manager. Okay, so start location manager, this is how you do it. Number one is we want to check that CL location manager dot the location services enabled, just to make sure that it works, right? Then we will assign the delegate of the location manager to be ourselves of this view controller, so that the delegate, the location manager, will inform the delegate, which is this guy, when new locations comes in. Then we'll tell location manager that we want the desired accuracy to be some other values, right? So you can have a lot of values here. I will use location. Now, there's a lot of values here. It says accuracy best. There's the best level of accuracy. It can be like kilometer. It can be 100 meters, 3 kilometers, which is really big. Nearest 10 meters. Best for navigation, right? So this is best for navigation is the highest. You see that? Highest possible accuracy that uses additional sensor data to facilitate navigation app. So this guy and this guy are the best, right? Are the most accurate. But it also comes at a cost. Is that the more you use the location, it will tremendously take the power from your phone. Why is it? Because now it not only uses the 3 systems that it uses, right? It uses Wi-Fi, cellular network, and the radio from GPS, right? To get the location. It also uses other sensors from the phone to make sure where you are in the world. Now, that takes a lot of power. So if in this app you just want to use maybe like some nearest, let's say 10 meters, right? If you're in a house or a shopping mall, 10 meters will pretty much tell you that you are in that big location, right? But if you are using like a navigation app, right? For example, at Wally Pro, we built an app that works like Uber Eats, right? Like Uber. So we have the detailed navigation we should use for navigation app, right? Otherwise, when you turn left or right, that will be very, very worse. Okay, so make sure that you keep in mind this desired accuracy, because a lot of time I use some navigation app and it just like makes my phone burns like a hot stone. So be really kind of like intentional about that. Okay, so let's do location manager, then we'll do start updating location. Then we'll turn the is updating location to be true. Okay. All right. So now the stop location, we'll do location. Is, if the is updating location is true, then we'll stop it. So location manager dot stop updating location like that. Then we'll do dot delegate to be nil. And we do is updating location to be false. Right? So we just stop the location manager like that. Now, at this time, it will says over here, cannot assign value of this to the CL location manager delegate. Why is that? Well, the reason is we tell that, hey, this should be conforming to a CL location manager delegate so that it can be the location manager's delegate, but we haven't done that. So let's go and create a new extension for location view controller that conform to CL location manager delegates like that. Right? Why do I use an extension here? Well, I learned this from Ray Gwendolyn, is whenever you want to implement like a set of methods, especially from your from a protocol, which is this guy, right? You later on this file here, this location view controller can get like hundreds of lines of code. Okay, so it's really important that somehow you will organize your code into chunk of functionalities. So this is an extension allows you to do that. So when you later, maybe 2 months from now, you work with your colleagues in the team, when they go here, they'll see this chunk of code. Maybe you can put in some comments here and they will see, okay, so this is an extension of this file and it's conforming to this. Oh, all right, so all of these methods here will be from this guy, right? Instead of like having everything inside the view controller class itself. Make sense? So it helps you with navigation and also documentation as well. So one method is location manager did fail with error. So there's something wrong with the network or location manager. Then the next one is success. Location manager did update locations. Okay, plural. So in the error, let's handle the error. So I'm going to print out is error location manager did fail with error, and then we put in the error like that. Okay, then if, let's say, if the error as error dot code is cl error dot location unknown, then we're going to return, because this is not really like a system error. But if it is not a system, if it is a system error, then let's store that error over here, so that later on maybe you want to put in an alert, tell the user about that, right? Then we'll stop the location manager. See this? So if there's an error, we'll stop the location manager. Why waste the battery, right? Then we'll do updates UI. Maybe inform the user that, hey, there's no location for you today. Sorry, right? Then when we get updates of the locations, let's get the location to be locations.last and ungrab it. Now, this location is this guy, right? Then this location's plural is this guy. Why is it plural? Why is it a lot of locations? Well, here's how the way that location manager works. It will get your locations, right? But the first few times that it gets your locations, the accuracy is really not good. Then it will kind of like it will get closer and closer and closer to your results. That's why when you use some map app like Google Maps or Apple Maps or Uber or any kind of like navigation app, it will, the first time that depending on your network obviously, but I trust that you already have this case that when the first time you detect your location, for example, it will gives you like a really big circle, right, which is the whereabouts of your location. Then it will kind of like smaller and smaller and smaller until you have reached a point. So that is the reason why you have an array of locations like that, right? So here, let's print out is got it, right? And then we have location manager did update locations, and then we will just put out our closest location. All right, then let's update UI, and also let's stop, or before we update UI, let's stop the location manager. Cool. So now let's run the app before we implement the update UI, just to make sure that in the log here we have some location. All right, so I'm going to press here. All right, so we have this error says location manager did fail with error, and then the error is error domain and unknown location, right? So what is that? Well, it is this thing right here. Well, the reason why we have this is, notice we are using a simulator, right? And the Mac I'm using doesn't have GPS, as maybe you already know that we don't need GPS on the Mac. So when you want to test your app on simulator especially with location stuff, all you can do, actually there are two ways you can do that. One, you can upload a file. They are specific kind of file for you to upload your custom location. Or number two, really simple, you click into this button right here and you simulate a location, right? Let's simulate London, and then we find location, and boom, you see, got it. Location manager did update locations. It says this optional right here, which is like a coordinate, right? And then plus minus 5 meters, which is awesome, right? So it's within 5 meters of accuracy. Gosh, that's crazy, right? So let's simulate into like Tokyo. Find location and have this a new one. I hope. No. Do we change Tokyo? Okay, let's do that once again. Find location. Oh, it doesn't change. All right, so let's don't simulate. So we need to, let's say, here we go. Let's change a new one. Okay, I just want to make sure that it works. Of course, like there's no way that user will jump from one thing to the next. Johannesburg. What is that? Yeah, Johannesburg. Find location. Here we go. It's still the same one for some reason. Okay, so let's say location. Here we go. Now let's update UI. Right, we need to update UI. So let's go into update UI. There, and where's our update UI? Here, right? And then we have the location. So let's update our labels information. So latitude label.text is the string with the format of %.8f, and then location.coordinate.latitude, then longitude label.text is the string with the format of, I will use the last 8 character, the last 8 number after the floating point, like that, and then we do location.coordinates.longitude, right? Then let's say the status label, the text, we see new location detected, something like that. Okay, so now let's run that once again and see how it looks like. Here we go. Find location. It says location detected. For some reason it is detected. Here we go. Alright guys, I hope that you enjoyed this episode and this demo. I know that now this is kind of like more advanced and more complicated framework in iOS development and in Swift. So at this point, day number 7, I know a lot of people will quit. I know a lot of people will say that, well, this is not the thing for them to do. They cannot become a developer. They cannot code. This is too hard. This is too complicated. It isn't fun at all. Now, I know that because the first few months that I learned to code, and the first few months that I tried to build iOS apps a few years back, it was hard, it was challenging, it was difficult, and I doubted myself. I remember like one night, really clear night, memory that I remember. That time I was still in college, and late at night, probably 11 or 12 a.m. in the morning, and like it was so hard. I was trying to build a feature or doing a code challenge or something, and it was so hard. And I was sitting in the library, kind of like glued my eye open for a few hours trying to figure this stuff out, but I wasn't able to. And I was down myself. I was like, I'm such an useless piece of, you know what I mean? And so I couldn't do anything further, so I just walked outside the library and took a walk, and I listened to some positive messages, some positive podcasts, just to reaffirm myself that I can do this, just to reaffirm myself and just like motivate myself that I have to do this for my family, for my future, for my career. And I really appreciate myself at that time that I did it, you know, like that I broke through, that I followed through. So at this point of the challenge, at this point, day number 7, I know that maybe this is a lot more complicated, a lot more coding, that maybe you have to watch this twice, that maybe you think that you are the one that who is not fit or like suitable with this career, or you can do this, or you cannot code. Well, I'm here to tell you that if this kid, like a Vietnamese guy who a few years back I didn't even speak English, I didn't even know like a line of English, I cannot even spell my name in English or something, and I still could do this. And now like millions, like more than 2 million students graduate from my courses and videos, become developers, and I can help people to do that. It means that you can do this too, and I cheer you on. I'm here for you, and that's why I create this series for you. So my friend, you can do this. Really, I honestly believe that from you. And so if you need some kind of like motivation or something, just be here, and I'll be here for you. Just follow along, please. Just follow along. Don't give up. Don't quit. And just know that you can do this. You can really do this, and your family deserves the best from you. The world deserves the best from you, what you are going to create. So I honor you, I appreciate you, and I thank you for watching this. And please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the 30 Days of Code series by clicking the link in the description so that I can share with you all the tutorials and the weekly newsletter and special training series that I only share by email. And thank you for this, and tomorrow I see you on the channel. Bye bye. Have an amazing day, guys.